In his first major interview since spending 6 months and remaining in prison on charges of sexual harassment and sex trafficking still pending. And by the way, no charges filed.
What the fuck?
Social media giant.
Leave the kids alone. If you want to chop your dick off, I have nothing against that. I'm not anti-gay. I'm not anti-transgender. I'm not anti any of these things.
Andrew Tate sits down with BBC. And oh my, it gets juicy.
It didn't work, bitch! I'm still alive, motherfucker!
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this is what's next. Happy Monday, everyone. Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Facts, common sense, and salt. Hope you guys are doing well today. And of course, this is day 5 of the hostage crisis known as Groomer Month. It's been a while. It's been a very long while. Andrew Tate, social influencer, social juggernaut, former MMA fighter, and of course, self-made billionaire. Well, he may be a little less now. Well, what's he been up to? He spent the last 6 months and remaining in prison on sexual harassment charges, i.e., and also sex trafficking charges, which are still pending. Now, a few days ago, he came out with a major interview with BBC. Surprisingly, that this went under the radar. Then again, with everything going on with Groomerville, not surprised. You got those on one side who believe that he is an incredible force for good, especially when it comes to young men and for how to treat women and how to about go their lives as being the alpha males. Then, of course, you have the other side who believe that he is a misogynist, part of the patriarchy, and, of course, the whole situation with how he treats women. Some people think this is a dual-edged sword. But in his first major interview with the BBC, after the BBC came after him for months to get this interview, they got it, and now they've censored it, accused of, for the public. Interesting. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. BBC accused of censorship after blocking interview with Andrew Tate for the UK viewers. The BBC has been accused of trying to cover up an interview with influencer Andrew Tate, which has been blocked from being viewed by the UK YouTube users after receiving criticism for apparent bias and heavily editing the video. After previously trolling for a former Vice reporter into flying into Bucharest on the false promise of an interview, kickboxing champion turned social media star Andrew Tate granted the BBC the privilege of his first interview after being released from a Romanian prison into house arrest custody in April. However, before the British public broadcaster aired the interview, Tate preempted what he suspected would be a legacy media hit job by the release of his own footage in the 40-minute sit-down with BBC, Lucy Williamson, on his Rumble channel. The BBC quickly released their own version of the interview a few hours later, apparently hastily cobbled together, given several sloppy edits, and cut down just to 9 minutes. So you took an almost hour interview and you cut it down to 9 minutes. Highlights? Yeah, think not. There's been a backlash of the BBC editing version for some time, and given the message that greets British viewers of the YouTube platform, which they attempt to now watch the video, the uploader has not made the video available in their country. It appears that the BBC has decided to shut the clip down. It was a 9-minute clip that they edited, and they shut it down. Wow. At the time of the reporting, the video, which is still available outside the UK, has over 160,000 dislikes compared to just 19,000 upvotes on YouTube. Gee, I wonder why. Clips of the interview remain online for those in the UK BBC website itself. Breitbart London has approached the BBC for comment on the logic behind the hit and miss approach to self-censorship. Andrew Tate's brother, Tristan, accused the broadcaster of having a political agenda behind the decision to block the video regionally. Not surprised. This is the BBC we're talking about. It's the same BBC that has forced diversity, inclusion, and equity, DIE, DIE, on its television and film projects. Wow. It's almost as though there is an agenda to paint my brother in a negative light. When the attack fails, make sure nobody in England sees it. The interview focuses on questions regarding controversial out-of-context statements by Tate has made over the years and his alleged impact on spreading hate in England and elsewhere, with the interview claiming that his online persona came with a dash of misogyny. At one point, Williamson repeated to debunk the claim that Tate had advocated attacking a woman with a machete. The claim goes back to a video where Tate discussed the hypothetical scenarios of what would he do, if a woman attacked him with a machete. Tate remarked that they could easily take comments by Williamson and make her appear violent or unhinged. That was picked up by fans on TikTok, which produced a video taking remarks of the BBC interview out of context, satirically underlying the potential power of dishonest editing Tate has accused the broadcaster of. Be careful, it's what's most dangerous women alive.
Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. If I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist.
A woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income. Men should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. If a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete. In return, you want authority over her, because if you have responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you have authority over them.
It's been fun so far.
Oh my, oh my. Throughout the interview, Mr. Tate maintained that he was a positive force in the world, particularly for young men, saying, I preach hard work, discipline, athlete, preach anti-drugs, I preach religion, I preach no alcohol, I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society I'm against. I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, diligent, listen, train, work hard to try to be like me. The influencer who rose to national fame last year became one of the most searched for men in the world after consistently going viral on platforms such as TikTok, criticizing modern feminism, global governance, and the perceived weakness of the millennial and Gen Z men in the West. Facts, facts, facts. He ain't lying. In December of last year, Tate was arrested alongside his brother Tristan and two women by Romanian authorities, accused of human trafficking women and rape. The pair were held in prison for 3 months and remained under house arrest, now despite the British-American brothers not having been charged with any crime. 3 months in prison and no charges. Gee, it's like America now, like J6 or something. Tate had maintained his innocence and repeated those remarks on BBC interview, but refused to go to detail that the case is still pending. He blamed his arrest on the Matrix and compared the situation with that of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Excuse me.
What I am anti is propagating your worldview on other people's children. If you're gay and you can't have kids, why do you now believe it's your right to go to other people's kids and tell them how to think? If you've decided that the type of sex you want to have will prevent you from procreating, that's your decision, right? You've decided that having sex with women isn't worth it for you. You don't want to have children. You want to have sex with men. Fine, your decision, and you're entitled to it. That does not give you the entitlement to go to other people's families who did decide to have children and raise them and try and program their children. Leave the kids alone. You can be as transgender as you like. Don't come talk to my kid about it. That's my child. I will program my child with my worldviews. I raise them. I pay for them. They're my kid. They're not your kid. And they're not the government's kid.
Last year, when Andrew Tate exploded onto the scene, well, he didn't really explode on the scene. He's been on social media for quite a while. But once he started hammering feminism, global governance, and shenanigans, especially when it came to COVID and the vax, and then this is how young men supposed to be acting, especially when it comes to when it comes to girlfriends and their wives and protecting them, defending them, providing for them, all hell broke loose. You had the Karens come out of the woodwork and basically throw him under the bus, blaming him for misogyny and being part of the patriarchy. When I started watching Andrew Tate last year, there were a lot of things that caught my eye and a lot of things that caught my ear and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. And of course, you had a lot of people who were referencing him to one Jordan Peterson, who of course, Jordan Peterson goes at it in a different way. Of course, stoic and not so quote unquote controversial. But then again, they call Peterson controversial for not declaring pronouns, really not giving two fucks about your pronouns. But there you go. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And we'll see you next time. Peace.